Support for this podcast comes from Professional Plumbing Group. How many hours in a day do your plumbers waste because you don't have the right part for the job? This problem leads to additional issues and reduced productivity, poor customer satisfaction, and increases your cost per job. Professional Plumbing Group, or PPG, can help you solve all those issues and more. We have everything you need to help your business grow and become more profitable while allowing you to focus on plumbing, not inventory management. Go to authorizedplumberprogram.com for more information.
Welcome to Successful Contractor, powered by CertainPath, formerly Success Group International, a show for residential contractors about residential contractors. We chronicle business journeys, share insights, and celebrate successes in this wonderful industry. I'm your host, Bob Houchin. As a reminder, all episodes of The Successful Contractor are available on YouTube, as well as your podcast player of choice. And for more information on how CertainPath can put your contracting company on a certain path to success, visit our new site, www.mycertainpath.com, or give us a call at 866-299-8505. I'm excited to bring to you an interview with Robbie Boyd and Steven Stein of Lambert Heating Air Conditioning in Altus, Oklahoma. These two have an incredible story to tell. The company was doing just about $400,000 a year in sales, but they were losing $60,000 of it. Today, owner Robbie Boyd projects them finishing 2022 between $1.2 and $1.4 million at a hefty profit margin. That turnaround has only taken a couple of years, but plenty of changes to their team and to how they function as a business. These two, though, are proof that success can be found at many different size businesses. So without further ado, here's Robbie Boyd and Steven Stein of Lambert Heating and Air Conditioning in Altus, Oklahoma. I hope you enjoy our conversation and take away a nugget or two. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking time away from Expo to sit with me today. I really appreciate it. For people who haven't had the pleasure of meeting you yet, could you share with everyone your name, your company name, and where you guys are located at?
My name is Robbie Boyd. And the company is Lambert Heating Air, and we're in Altus, Oklahoma.
Very good. And this gentleman next to you is?
I am Steven Stein. I work with Lambert Heating Air. I'm the mechanical contractor.
Very good. Very good. So we're talking today because from what I understand, you've had a really good year. Something I think you're going to do, over $1 million this year? Like 30% growth. Profit numbers are looking good, right?
Yes, it looks like we're trending between 1.2 and 1.4 this year.
Even better than I thought. That's amazing. And last year you did just under.
Last year we were around 890 or so.
And that was a big jump.
And that was a big jump, yes.
That's
2 years in a row. It's been good.
That's very exciting. I love in these interviews to learn people's personal histories and how they got to where they are. I find that almost as enjoyable as learning the nuts and bolts of your business. So let's dig into this. So how did you get into HVAC, Robbie? And then I'll hit you up next.
Okay. Well, actually, I seen that this company was for sale. Had heard through the grapevine that it was for sale, and I knew the owner at that time, and just reached out to him and kind of worked on a deal and come to an agreement that I thought was in my favor.
Yeah, sure. Well, sure. That's business. Yeah.
So we jumped in there and purchased it. I don't really have a HVAC background.
Right. You own another business?
I own another business. And it was just an opportunity and a challenge that I wanted to take on.
Well, what is the other business you mind showing?
I have a janitorial supply and a restoration business.
Very good. That's interesting. All right. So, Steven, how did you get in HVAC?
So when I got, I played professional baseball. So when I got released from baseball, I kind of went back to my hometown where I went to college and was working out. And I got offered an HVAC job. And, I just kind of.
What was the first job? Was it an installer or were you just like a apprentice?
So where we're at, we kind of do it all. We're kind of hybrids, install service. So, I started in 2011. And, just been doing it ever since.
Well, did you have a friend in it? Or
I did. So, I met him through college. His dad owned the business at the time.
Okay.
He asked me if I wanted a job, and I went in the next day, and we just got started.
That's incredible. And so how long have you worked together then?
So I am with Lambert Heating Air for about 2.5 years now.
2.5 years. Okay. Now you do a little bit of everything, right? You do sale. I mean, what's all your role?
From sales to installs to service, I'm kind of all around.
Okay.
Kind of do everything, manage the techs, make sure everything's getting done right.
Actually, yeah, let's chase that a little bit. What does the rest of the team look like? What's Les Lambert comprised of?
We have 5 techs, I believe.
Okay. And they do everything, service, install, everything. Okay.
Yeah.
Very good. And it's just the two, and you're doing sales. Does anyone else sell?
So our technicians are kind of sales based. So
Okay.
we all kind of sell when we can. If they have a question or a problem with something, I kind of take over and go in and see if I can help them get the sale.
Okay. Who's answering the phones?
We have 2 girls in the office, Debbie and Sharissa.
Okay.
And they're the call takers, I guess you'd say.
Call takers. Are they doing the dispatching too, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Okay. Who sets the board every day? Who's going on what call? Do you do that? Or
we kind of, I look over it when it comes in, when I get in and see, kind of which call is fit for which technician, and, we kind of dispatch it that way.
Okay.
Let the girls kind of learn kind of which techs are their strong points and which ones don't have those strong points.
Sure. Okay, so you said it's been 2.5 years or so?
Yeah.
Okay, so this was just as the CertainPath /SGI change happened, right? So I guess when you came aboard?
When it changed to CertainPath?
Yeah. Well, when you guys joined our group, that's when you kind of came aboard? That's what I'm
just right after that.
We
really hadn't got a lot done.
Okay. So let's go after that a little bit. So you bought the business. What year was that again?
We bought it October of 2017.
2017. You joined in 2018.
And
so a year, you're like, okay, this is.
Yeah, it was scary the first year, to tell you the truth. We were losing money. It was a mess. Yeah. And I got a letter. And I mean, why I got the letter, I don't know. But I got the letter.
Yeah.
Had Baker Brothers guy, I forget his
name.
Jimmy
Jimmy
on there, read the letter, and I thought, this is too good to be true. So I loaded everybody up. We went.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, we went to his place, and they had what is it, where they sit down, all the members are trying to.
Profit Day. Yeah.
It was at Profit Day, sat there, and we, like I said, we were broke.
Sure.
We didn't have the money to join.
Yeah.
But we just dove off in it anyway.
Yeah.
And
it
was scary. I seen that. I knew as a business owner, this was going to work.
Yeah.
My hardest deal was getting and convincing the rest of the crew.
Sure.
Because they had done it one way forever.
Yeah.
And this didn't look like something they were familiar with at all.
Yeah.
So at first it was scary.
Oh, sure.
But where we're at today is been worth it all.
Absolutely. So, okay, so you sign up for this thing, and then you got to go to EP in Dallas, turn the fire hose on. So that was probably like a month later, or so it was pretty quick.
Yeah, it's pretty quick. I can't remember exactly how.
So was it just you then?
No, I took 2 others with me.
Okay. Are they still with you?
No. We have one person
with you
from when it started.
That's what happens. So what was that week like?
It was a lot to take in.
Sure.
And where we struggled was the implementation of it.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
We understood it, but we didn't understand it.
Yeah.
We knew it would work, but we didn't know how to put it together. So
right.
Once we had a coach and just found out, hey, add a little bit here, add a little bit there, and just slowly put it in place, it started falling into place. We were trying to do it too fast.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Yeah. I'm sure we're not the only one.
No, we just had an interview. They were like, that's the same thing. It happens. That's the entrepreneur mindset.
Yes.
That's interesting. So what, do you remember what your like BHAG, your goals were leaving EP? I always forget to ask people that, but do you remember what you wanted to do at that time? Or
I think for me, I wanted to build a different culture than what was there. And that was what stood out to me.
Yeah.
Was trying to get that established and started.
It's a foundation.
Yes.
Yeah. Happy people do good work.
Yes, absolutely.
So, okay. So you get the fire hose turned on you, and you're like, I got all this stuff I got to do. So how'd you take a bite of the elephant? What were some of the early changes you made right away? And,
well, we actually tried to put together a pricing guide.
Okay.
Which was pretty quick.
Yep.
And that was scary too, because my employees that were there were like, we can't charge this.
Sure.
Way too,
right.
And I told them, I said, well, if we do the way we're doing things, we can't. You're right. But when you do it the way you're supposed to, it's the service that they're paying for.
Absolutely right. Yeah. All right. So you get the price guide put together. How about, with the additional pricing, there's the value component, like you said. So like were you guys doing uniforms back then? So you had uniforms in place?
We started them, yes.
You started, okay.
And then we do them for sure now.
Sure.
shoe covers.
Yes.
Do all that. How about like your warranties and your guarantees? Like, did those evolve?
That is something we're still working on.
Sure.
Just because we want to make sure that we're doing things right to where we can cover that guarantee.
Right.
You don't want to guarantee something, then you can't guarantee it.
Yeah, no, I get that for sure. What were some of the other big changes in that first year or 6 months, if you can think back?
I think just the overall culture was the biggest change, and it took a while, and I think that's kind of why we're down to we have one guy left.
Yeah,
that fit the system.
Yeah,
and now we've brought in, everybody fits it.
Sure,
and it's making a world of difference.
Right. So, all right. Well, how about, so you have the guide, so you got to know how to use it. Training is a big thing, obviously, with our organization. Was that where the pushback started happening? The additional pushback, doing training, or what kind of caused the turnover per se?
I think it was. It wasn't the train. They would go to the training. It was implementing it when you got back.
Okay.
Just going back to old habits.
Got it.
And trying to break people of old habits is almost impossible.
Sure. So you started hiring. You had to hire right away, right? And I guess Steven was one of those early
Steven,
guys?
yep. It was kind of interesting how that happened. Actually, his buddy that he worked with was a really good friend of mine. Was in my wedding.
Oh wow! Okay.
And I had heard a little bit from him. I'd never heard from Steven.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to approach someone that worked at another business. I didn't think that was very professional, and I never really did.
Yeah.
But I talked to his buddy.
Yeah.
And said, hey, if he wants to call me, let him call.
Yeah.
And once he made that call, I remember the first time we sat down, I called him over to my house. I said, hey, man, just come to my house. We'll talk. No pressure.
Right.
And we talked for an hour and a half, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I told him, I remember at the end of that, I said, why don't you bring your wife in? He said, if I bring my wife in, I'm starting tomorrow. So he didn't bring her in.
That's funny.
So actually he didn't come along then.
Okay.
Some stuff happened on down the road to where it just made it to where it worked out. It was probably even better timing.
Very good. How about some of the other people that you brought on? Like,
we've done most of that since Steven's been on board.
Okay.
We've done a better job of interviewing and seeing what fits and what doesn't.
Right.
We're actually in the process of making a hire here in the next few days.
Oh, that's great.
Of a guy that looks like he fits for sure.
What position?
A technician.
As a technician. Yeah. Okay, that's great.
So that'll put us at 6, I believe.
All right. So it was a lot of it. So you were coming in. There's people that are leaving. A lot of transitions. How about the young ladies on the phone? Did they transition to how we ask people to answer the phones right away, or are they newer employees as well?
They are new now.
Okay,
and they do it the way we're supposed to.
Right.
So,
and before it was.
It was. I mean, they did. I'm not saying they did not do it, but it was just so new to them, And I think when you bring someone in that hasn't had any experience in it, then they just do it the way you want them to do it.
Sure. How about, so you're a business person, so you had the financial background. You knew the numbers and budgets and all that stuff. I mean, there's a lot of guys that come from the field that's all new to them or they never did it. So that part, you knew you saw the model. We had the percentages, right? So I guess that was new. Right. And the KPIs, that was like, oh, this is what we need to do per ticket. Well, that was all new, right? Yeah. Anything else you can think of maybe in those early days, changes and things you're like, boy, oh, that's interesting.
That was the biggest deal, was the numbers. I mean, when we first got the company, I think it was $435,000 gross.
Okay.
With basically 0% net profit.
Yeah. Or hemorrhaging money.
Yes. Yeah. It was really losing about $60,000 a year.
Wow. Was it just labor? Just too much labor?
Yeah. Yep. Way high on labor.
And not priced right, I'm sure.
And definitely doing stuff for nothing.
Yeah.
Much. Like, do you guys just like doing this? Not making any money?
I know. How about like materials and equipment? Or, I mean, do you have, getting decent pricing on that?
We still struggle with that a little bit just because of where we're at.
Yeah.
Okay. We're in a small area and there's not much choice. We're always working on trying to find, but it seems like our material list is high.
Yeah, you guys are, share with everyone. You're right, like almost on the Texas.
Yeah, we're on the southwest corner of Oklahoma, just right past the Red River.
Okay.
About 13 miles from the Red River.
Okay. So like to fly to here, where do you go? I mean, do you drive to this?
You could either go to Lawton, Oklahoma and fly there.
Okay.
Which you wouldn't fly directly here, I don't think, from there. You might. Or you could fly out of Dallas or Oklahoma City.
Okay.
Which we drove here. So.
Okay. So so you're in it's a small community. Yeah. How many people are you like potential service area?
Right. 20,000, 25 maybe.
20,000 population.
Is that right? So how far out, like how far are your techs driving then to get to some of these?
We go about an hour out.
Is that right? So that's it's a big service area, but not a lot of people. So
If you count that area, it's a little bit more than 25. It'd be more closer to 40.
okay. All right.
There is one town that's a little bit larger that we go to.
How many other contractors do you think are operating now like you're operating this level of service in your marketplace? Is there
Nobody.
Zero.
We're the only one.
So that's why you're
That's why
kind
it's so difficult to get it started and get it ran the right way.
right.
It's because everybody in in our industry is trained one way, and it's hard to get the customers out of that one way
Sure.
and show them the right way to do things.
Yeah.
It took us forever to kind of implement all that stuff and show the potential and the right service.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
So you come in, you're probably running calls right away, right? You're just trying to still get everything in place. When did you? I mean, how many people was it? Just hiring constantly then, as people were leaving, you're bringing in new people.
There was a little bit of turnover because
Yeah.
when you're in an area like ours, and I know this is a bad thing to do, but if a guy shows up and he's licensed,
No, that's
it's like you hire him
oh
or
my
somebody
God,
else
I've
is
heard
going to
that
hire
for
him.
20 years.
Yeah.
No, I understand that for sure. Yeah.
And we did that a few times, and we're like,
Yeah.
shouldn't have done that.
Yeah.
So we don't do that anymore.
Right.
Like I said, we've got one we're working on now that is a fit,
Mm-hmm.
and
And he's licensed, or
yep,
okay.
he's licensed. He's young,
Yeah.
but he's got a family, married, military.
Mm-hmm. Checks a lot of good boxes.
Yes.
It's stable.
Clean cut. I mean,
Yeah.
just he fits.
How many? Do you guys do a lot of apprentices or something like that? I mean, what's the I forget what's the licensing process in Texas. It's a state license.
We're in Oklahoma.
Or Oklahoma.
The-
I'm sorry.
The licensing in Oklahoma is terrible.
Is it?
It's I think Utah's worse, and that's
Really?
or one of their. It's really tough.
So how many hours like before someone can start touching?
You got to have 1,000 hours of school before you can test, or 3 years experience as an apprentice.
Yeah.
Before you're able to test for your journeyman license.
Okay.
And then 4 years for your contractor's license.
All right. So do you have any apprentices at this point trying? Or
We have one. And
You have
he
one.
should be ready to test next year.
That's great.
Early next year.
3 years. That's
It's a long time.
yeah. I was going to say in some states
That is part of what is the struggle on growth in our area because you can't keep those guys very long.
Right.
They just get burnt out, and the pay's not great.
Right.
And until so we are trying to do that though. Is kind of train them in house.
Right. So I was going to So pay. I mean, now you're charging more. How are you paying techs and stuff like that? Is it hourly plus some kind of a commission or
We
what
do
is it?
hourly plus spiffs.
Plus spiffs. Okay. For what?
For sales
Mhm.
of different stuff, like whether it's equipment, new install sale, or
Yeah.
IAQ equipment,
Mhm.
those kind of different things.
Okay.
And we're still working on some of that. We're going to add some other because that seems to motivate. And
Absolutely. Did you do a scoreboard or anything like that right now? Do you?
We haven't put it up.
You guys are so small. You're still small. I mean, I don't know if you're a smaller operation, right?
So when I came in, it was just 2 guys. It
Right.
Was, it was Tyler and it was Kenyon, which was their apprentice.
Yeah.
When he called me in and we came over, he was actually leaving town for a week, and I just kind of came in.
it was bad timing
And,
It happens.
I got thrown to the wolves, we just kind of,
because I think we
They
had
didn't know
7
me.
changeouts that week.
Oh,
I was
boy.
thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
they didn't know me, I didn't know them, but we just went straight to work. And
Yeah.
Kind of got it going. And
That's great.
Support for this podcast comes from Ream. Brothers Richard and Donald Ream founded Ream Manufacturing Company in Emeryville, California in 1925. The company has produced a number of cutting-edge products in its 89 years of operation. Today, Ream is North America's only manufacturer of HVAC, water heating, pool and spa heating, and commercial refrigeration solutions. For more information, go to ream.com. And PulseM. PulseM is the #1 review generation platform built for home services. The majority of CertainPath members use PulseM for Google reviews, customer communication through text messaging, and much more. To quote Bubba Thurman of Baker Brothers, "I can't say enough good things about PulseM. They match our core values and they do an unbelievable job." For more information, please visit pulsem.me.
Just get back to the interview. You've interviewed wrong, you've hired wrong, which a lot of people, everyone does that. What are some things you look for in people now when you interview people? What characteristics, attributes, backgrounds? I mean, what are the things that stand out to you?
One of the things I look for is I want someone obviously that can talk to people and they're not a hermit or they're not shy or, because we depend on our techs to do a lot of sales too.
Sure.
If we have a comfort advisor, it's basically me.
Okay. So you're in the field too sometimes.
Every once in a while, I'll go, out and try to close a deal. They seem to close them before I get there, so
That's
which is
great.
great.
That means you're doing really
so
good.
that's one of the things I look for is someone that can communicate well with customers. And so we send all of them, not just to service essentials, but also to selling tech.
Great. So they've actually gone and sat in the class, not just the online one. Are they done
some
both?
of them? Yeah.
Some of them. That's incredible.
They'll be doing them again here in a few months.
So is that something you want them to regularly go through?
He and Tyler, I think, are going to go to Comfort Advisor next.
That's great.
And then we've got some other technicians they're going to selling tech.
That's great. So so it's just got to find people that can communicate well, look at you. Anything else you like? Certain backgrounds, athletes, anything. What is there certain things you've had success with, or is just getting a read of people?
It's basically a read because past experiences, they come in, they tell you all this experience, and they get in the field, and it's not quite what it seems.
Sure.
So kind of don't base it off of how much experience they have, but their knowledge as to, you ask them tough questions, and only an experienced tech is going to know that answer. Yeah. If they don't know it, then obviously they don't have the experience they're telling us they have. So
now, is it tech stuff and other soft skill kind of questions, or when you're interviewing? I mean,
that too. How you approach a customer. And,
sure.
The name, keeping the name good.
Yeah.
And stuff like that.
So someone who's licensed, you're like, okay, this guy looks pretty good. Do you ride along with them afterwards just to kind of see or
so they ride with me after we hire them. They ride with me for, a few weeks, and I kind of show them the process.
Sure.
How we do calls, how we approach customers, and once I think they're ready to be in their own truck, we kind of transition them to their truck.
Okay. And it just depends on you said everyone does everything, right? So that's kind of nice. That way you guys are flexible.
And we're trying to change that now that we've got more guys hired. We're slowly going to where
a traditional model.
Yes, the traditional model of, you got your crew that's going to do the change outs.
Mm-hmm. It'll increase efficiency for sure. What does training look like for you guys now? I mean, do you train every week in some capacity, or what do you do?
So we struggle with that because, we were, like I said, we were three guys. We were so busy. There wasn't really time for us to stop what we're doing. We were pushing 16 calls a day per tech.
Holy cow!
Just to get them in and to make sure people were pulling. If we had to go back the next day and finish something up, that's what we would do. But just the influx of calls and three of us, it was tough.
Sure.
So we couldn't just sit down and go through the calls the right way. Mm-hmm. And now that we kind of got the right guys in the right places, we can kind of
so things are slowing down a little bit now. Yeah, that's great. So, but you don't have anything set just yet with training, but you're using a lot of the outside resources. Is good. That's good. So
we are signed up with Learning Alliance, so we're set up to where we can do training.
Just the winter time is basically our time for training.
Yeah. No, that's good. It's a big part of it. What are some? I know the company's now profitable. It's moving in the right direction. Was it getting the pricing right and then the right people to implement the system, or what are some of the other big things you think that influence those numbers?
Well, pricing was probably number one because, like I said, they were doing stuff way too cheap.
Right.
So we got pricing right, and then slowing down some and making sure that we're not getting a bunch of callbacks.
Sure.
That's helped.
Do you have like a checklist, an install checklist or something you guys follow?
Yeah.
Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That system performance report really helps. And it basically tells the techs what they need to check, what they need to go over.
Right.
To make sure we don't get those callbacks.
That's great. And I guess you're using the comfort survey on the sales side?
We don't have that yet.
Yeah.
We haven't implemented that, but
well, that's exciting though. That means that's opportunities. That's really good. That's great. How about like marketing and stuff? Are you having to market much, or you had that customer base that you're like, we got to get the company, right condition, and then and we can take care of the customers that have been calling. So have you not had a need to market a lot?
We've started marketing. We're not doing enough. I know that. Yeah. We did get our Google My Business page rolling, and we signed up with PulseM.
Okay.
So we're way ahead of anybody around with reviews. I think we're at 227.
That's great.
The next one's like 39.
Oh, that's huge. Yeah.
So that's helped a lot. We've got a web page.
Doing any SEO or any pay per click, nothing like that yet?
Not yet.
Yeah.
We've talked to some different companies of that, but it's hard for me to follow. I don't understand that.
I get it. I mean, it's like a different language when they're talking about
Yes.
it. And Google changes everything every 3 months.
But I know we need to do it because we are looking to, there's another town that's about 45 minutes away that's pretty good size, and there's a very good opportunity to get, there's just not much there.
Okay. And you'd be able to stay at your current location and venture out into that?
Yes.
Okay, that's great. So you're not
I own a building there, so we could
you
put
can
an
establish
office if we needed to.
Yeah.
Just to maybe stock equipment or whatever.
Right.
So that's the plan, but we need some SEO on that.
Yeah.
To get our name out there in that town.
But it sounds like you guys have got leads are not an issue at this point. Calls are not an issue. Are you staying pretty busy?
We're staying pretty busy.
That's great.
Google's helped us a lot. Nobody in town uses it except for us. And we live in an airports town. The airport's based there. So,
I didn't realize that.
People come in.
Yeah.
The first thing they do is Google
Yeah.
HVAC. We're the first ones to pop up. We have the most reviews.
Right.
So that helps us get in those doors. And
That's
help those people out.
That's huge. Earlier you mentioned getting with your coach. Like, how much does that help talking to someone and kind of figuring out what I need to do next? Has that been a good resource?
Yes. We started out with Abigail.
Yeah.
And then I think she moved to a different position, and then Chris come along.
Yeah.
And it's just been, something about Chris, he just kind of, he fits with us.
Yeah.
Because we may do things a little slower than what he's used to, but I think he gets us.
Yeah.
So
that's good. Chris is good.
So it has helped us tremendously.
It's nice having someone not in your stuff, right? You get that outside opinion on what to do. That's great.
That's been probably the biggest thing with SGI. What's it called?
CertainPath. We do it all the time.
That's probably been the biggest thing, is having people to lean on.
Yeah, that's great.
Especially with our office girls, they call them all the time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, they and it's made a big difference. Whether it's doing budgets or KPI, all that stuff.
Yeah,
they've asked all those questions, and they're understanding it probably better than we do.
That's great. That's good. The whole team though is working on it. That's fantastic. So there's buy-in. There's that culture you want.
Yes.
Do you feel like that's gotten there just by having the right people?
We're still working on the culture, but
sure.
It's turning the corner.
Yeah. Is it just like with the office girls? You said, getting them to buy in. Is this just explaining to them what you're hoping to do and hoping to build? These conversations you guys have all the time. This is where we're going. Look at this. This is where we can be.
Yeah. That and sending them to different classes and stuff, because when it's not coming from me and it's coming from someone else, they're like, oh, okay.
He's not just saying.
Exactly. So
that's neat. That's great. What are some of the other? You guys, big growth last few years. Profit's good. What are some of the other big changes and things you want to tweak to get even better, say next year? Do you have some things in mind? What do you think?
Yeah, so mainly just, we have the text now, so being able to slow down, do the calls the right way, average tickets are going to go up.
Good.
We kind of split the service guys from the install guys.
Right.
Now we can double up, because in the past, we stopped service to do an install.
Sure.
And then, we're behind on service and vice versa. So,
yeah.
We kind of do them both at the same time. And I think the opportunity to grow is huge there.
That's fantastic. Do you have any big, go ahead. I'm sorry. We're going to say something, Robbie. Yeah. Any idea, do you have big goals, 3 to 5 years, what the company could be? Or what?
That's the question you want to ask me, because I've got goals we may never reach. That's just the way I am.
Yeah.
We want to establish, like that other city I mentioned, we've actually got 2 in mind. Once we get where we're at established, we want to grow into other places.
Yes, closer communities. Yeah.
And they're all close. Both places are within an hour.
That's great.
And we've got 2 different, I've got one facility that I own, and then there's another buddy of mine that has a place. He's begging us to get over there and open up shop there.
Is that right?
So
just people.
It's just
more people. It's finding the right people and
the
right timing too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
So, but that would be a goal of mine, is to, and then eventually down the road, possibly add plumbing.
Okay. There you go. Yeah. Once you get that customer base.
Yes.
So
we get calls probably every week for plumbing.
Oh, is that right?
There's a big shortage where we're at.
That's
just not enough of them.
Yeah.
And do you guys do plumbing? Every week.
Yeah.
So I know it wouldn't be that hard to get that going if we could find the right there.
Yeah. Find the right people, for sure. Kind of wrapping up, what advice would you have? You guys are still kind of new into it, right? And then COVID, I'm sure, made everything kind of different too, dealing with all that. What advice would you have for other new members? What are some things you wish you would have done differently, or things that you did well and like, boy, that made a big difference? Anything come to mind? Either one of you.
I would say for me, if I was just signing up, is I wouldn't try to put like I did, try to do everything at once. It's way overwhelming.
Yeah.
If you'll just say, hey, I'm going to implement this, get it established, implement the next thing, get it established, and then once you do that, it just starts falling into place. You may have to do like we did. You may have to get different people to make that happen. But it's not as difficult as it seems when you slow down.
Sure.
You don't have to do it all in 1 year, really.
Yeah.
I mean, it's taken us a long time, really.
Right.
We're just now seeing the results. We started in 2018.
Yeah.
Because we tried it all at once and it didn't work. And then we didn't know what to do.
Right.
And I thought, okay, let's just do one thing at a time. And now we've got most of it. There's still some stuff we need to add and do better at.
And as you grow, there's going to be levels of managers. You're going to get bigger and bigger, and there's all sorts of new challenges. But what are some things that you said, boy, we did it the wrong way? Then let's slow down. What are some of those things you would say make for the highest impact? For, again, a new member's like, okay, you said to slow down. So what are those core things I need to do first?
Number one, probably the way you approach the customer.
Okay.
I mean, when I bought the company, the guys would knock on the door, and the first thing out of their mouth would say, "Where's your furnace?"
Yeah, sure.
And I was like, "What?" So that needs to be fixed, because there a lot of companies are that way.
Sure.
I mean, they're there to get the job done, and they're leaving. They don't care who they're talking to.
Sure.
So fixing that was a big part to me, because I knew that without joining.
Yeah.
I mean, I knew how you're supposed to treat customer and how you converse back and forth and and all that. So that was something that I would say
Step one.
We definitely need to work on that.
Yeah.
And now we do. We get, matter of fact, our reviews are always about how pleasant it was speaking and talking to the technician.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, just that little extra time. People are busy, but still a little pleasantries, and it's appreciated. It goes a long way. Yeah. I guess getting pricing, it sounds like, probably was something that needed to get fixed right away, right?
Yes.
So you got to make money. That makes everything else easier. How much are you watching the numbers and stuff to make sure the jobs are profitable, or, well, guys, we need to do something differently. We weren't making the kind of money on this replacement, or whatever. I mean, you guys keep a pretty tight eye on those?
He probably looks at it daily.
You're selling it and all that stuff.
I probably look at it weekly.
Yeah. And you guys are on a service line, CertainPath software. When did you incorporate that?
So that was before me. So that would.
Okay. So it was a little while.
It's been a little while.
How has that helped with keeping track of everything? And
that's amazing. The whole concept of that. It's because I came from a company to where they wrote out a service ticket. You grab 10 of them, start your day, and you just went through them. Having everything in front of you,
right?
And it tracks everything for you. You see what technicians are doing,
right?
It's a game changer.
And you got pictures and service history and having it at the touch of a finger. So is that you tell all the guys, hey, be sure to check out, look at that account and see what's going on, see what maybe has been recommended in the past. I mean, I'm sure you use it constantly. That's great. So that's worked out well. That's good to hear. Any other final pieces of advice, maybe, or things you'd like to share with other members that would help them out?
Buy in 100%.
Yeah.
I mean, if you got any doubt, it's not going to work.
Yeah. But it's hard work, but it's pretty neat to see where you guys are at now, huh? Compared to what a couple years ago, you're like, what is going on?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, I agree with him that buying in 100% is where it's at. Yeah. It's going to work. If you do that, I don't think you can fail.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's put together that well. And it's hard to see when
I bet.
It's hard to see that. You're like, what?
Yeah. But it's pretty incredible to see what you guys are doing now. I know Chris was just said, we got to talk to him.
Chris has been a big part of it. There's no doubt.
That's good. Well, we're glad to see you guys. And I'm excited to see what you're going to do year by year, and maybe have you on again when you're hitting $10 million and all these other markets. So, hey, thank you so much for your time. Really appreciate it.
Sir.
That's Robbie Boyd and Steven Stein of Lambert Heating and Air Conditioning in Altus, Oklahoma. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. If so, please like and subscribe on YouTube. If you're on your favorite podcast player, please leave us a 5-star review. The 2 seconds you take to leave a review will help other success-minded contractors like you find us and hopefully get a little bit better, which elevates our entire industry. And please join me for future episodes. This has been The Successful Contractor, powered by CertainPath.
Shuby. Shuby makes it easy to take your customer service to the next level. Show your clients you care with their full line of extra large, extra durable products made specifically to protect their home or business. Shuby products were made by service professionals for service professionals. None of those cheap, thin shoe covers that tear on the job. Their booties are made tough. They have surface protection products for every floor type to make sure you don't leave behind scuffs or scrapes. And don't forget their coveralls, made with an extra long torso for ease of motion while keeping your uniform clean all day. Let Shuby prevent the hassle of cleanup by preventing the mess in the first place. Put your best foot forward with Shuby today. Visit their website at www.shuby.com or give them a call today and mention coupon code to receive 10% off your next order. The Successful Contractor Podcast is part of the CertainPath family. CertainPath builds successful home service businesses and has for 23 years. We do it by providing contractors with a proven path to success, professional coaching, software solutions, and a member community of over 1,000 contractors just like you. Doubling your sales with a 20% net profit and an inspiring company culture is all possible. Let us show you the way. With CertainPath, success is made certain. Visit www.mycertainpath.com for more information.